You are now listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.
That's right. You are now listening to the Mike's Opinion podcast. Thank you so much for listening. How are you doing? How you doing out there? I always want to know. I always want to know how you doing. I always want to know. You can just hit me up anytime. Let me know how you doing. I share myself. Share yourself. You know what I'm saying? Communicate. Yeah, but I hope you're doing all right out there. I always, I always hope you are doing well and doing fine. What's that? What? You say, yo, Mike, how you doing? You don't want to know. I'm just going to keep it like that. The struggle is so real right now, but I'm going to be fine. You know why? I'm going to be fine because I'm drinking wine. Cheers. Yeah. Mm. Um, Support the show, please. If there was any ever a time for you to support the show, it's now. My ballers out there, my shot callers, my big money boys. You know what I'm saying? Those out there getting mad bags. Support your man right here. I need you. That's real talk. But I ain't, this show, this episode ain't about me and my problems. We all got them, right? Word. So I usually do an update episode. This is not that. This is about a specific topic. It's about the elephant in the room. Mm, mm. The elephant in the room. Who's the elephant in the room? What's the elephant in the room? The elephant in the room is Donald J. Trump, supposed billionaire, New York real estate mogul, former president, now arrestee, like the rest of us. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm not trying to laugh at somebody's pain. Even Donald Trump, love thine enemy, right? He ain't really an enemy to me. I grew up in New York. I can't say I know him. Been to many places, many parties, know many famous people. He ain't one of them that I know. However, he did move in New York, and he might be my daddy. Now I'm just playing. That is a 100% joke. I only say that because my mom's used to kick it with Trump. Now listen, this is before this. This is when Trump was down with hip hop. I'm from New York. For my long time, one per people out there, y'all know that. If you just tuning in, I'm from New York. I live in Texas now. I live outside of Dallas, but I'm a native New Yorker, born and raised there, and so is my mom's. And my mom's was out there doing her thing, and we have photographic evidence with Trump like this around my mom's. I don't know what happened. Like I said, the dates and timelines. Though I was born before she's like after I was born already when she started kicking it with Trump. And I won't say kicking it. I don't know. I don't really know the extent. She don't really talk too much about it, but she does share the pictures. You know, Trump and her homegirl, and Trump's homeboy. But like I said, this is when Trump was just rocking around, you know, New York, and Trump loved the honeys. My mom's was a dime. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? But Trump, before he was MAGA man and blah blah blah, he was just a dude running around New York, rocking casinos, real estate, doing him. And he was in hip hop videos. We was friends with Trump. And when I say we, I mean black people. You know what I'm saying? Before he supposedly I don't know, did he turn on us? I don't know. I don't know. Look, that's not really what I'm talking about today. The elephant in the room is Donald J. Trump, because if you don't know, yesterday in a Manhattan courtroom, he pleaded not guilty to 34 counts, criminal counts. I believe there was at least one felony involved, if not all felonies. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg said, yo, we got the goods on you, son. Now, a lot of people say this is political. And really, I did this episode. I was going to take this week off, right? But I said, nah, my people is out there. I do have a following that is growing. And once again, please support the show. If you can't send me a bag or half a bag or like take something out the bag and send it to me, I understand. We all ain't able. If you are able, please do that. But you can like, share, comment, follow, subscribe on all the platforms. Greatly appreciated. Word. So keep growing the show. I'm doing this grassroots from the bottom, starting from the bottom now. I'm here. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not here yet, but I'm still starting from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Next week will be the 3-year anniversary. But yo, how you feel about this? That's really what I wanted to know. I'm gonna get some feedback from you on this because how you feel about this? How you feel about a former president? Let's set Trump aside. We're gonna bring him right back in a minute, but let's set him aside for a minute. How do you feel about a former president being dragged into a courtroom publicly, and having to answer for his alleged criminal activity? How you feel about that? Like the presidents, like some people are so the presidential office, you immune to everything. You could do no wrong, right? And then some people like, you're not above the law. I don't care who you are, right? If we caught you jaywalking, you getting that fine or whatever the consequences is in that particular locale. So I feel a bunch of different ways about it, and I'm gonna share that with you in just a minute. But this is not the only problem from a legal perspective that Trump has. But keep in mind who you rocking with. When I say you, the people that's going after Trump, and I'm not advocating for him, I'm not defending him. I just want you to keep in mind, my man plays in court all day, every day, and has for decades. Playing in court, he don't care. He'll play in court. He's been doing this for a long time, a long time. So going to court ain't nothing new. Getting lawyers ain't nothing new. And yo, just in case you was wondering, this is a very ridiculously inexpensive cab. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon, and it is what it is. Inexpensive. Nevertheless, to get the job done. To my brother from another mother who I know, listen, shout out to you. What's up out there in Cali? But we always talk because, we grew up on the streets of New York, Tim's, all the stuff. But now he California's sophisticated, drink with his pinky out, right? And he don't really drink like that no more. But he was deep into the wine, like he was going to the vineyards out in Cali and all of that, buying $300 bottles, even more than that. But I told him, like, look, it don't matter if you riding in a 1984 Honda, nothing against Hondas, or if you riding in a brand new Bentley, we going to the same destination. We going to get to the same place. I'm going to get there in my Honda. You get there in your Bentley. You might be a little more comfortable. Might get a few more looks. You might get got because that Bentley going to get attention. I'm going to get there just chilling in my Honda. The analogy is my cheap wine versus his expensive wine is both going to get us to where? Intoxicatedville, USA. That's where it's going to get us. Y'all know I digress. This is what I do, but it's all connected. Bing, connected. So, but I just drinking wine just in case inquiring minds wanted to know what he's sipping on. That's what I'm sipping on. So, what side of the aisle are you? Are you, the president should receive some type of immunity? Or do you think that I don't care who you are, if you broke the law, you should suffer the consequences. Because my man is Trump is facing like 130 something years on these charges. So DA Bragg, came on shortly after the whole arrest, and Trump into his pleas. He had his legal team with him and all of that. And he had a press conference. Trump flew back to Mar-a-Lago, and then he had a press conference. I'm pretty sure he was like, "Yo, I ain't staying in New York no longer than I have to. I'm out." Fortunately, nothing blew up. Nobody got shot. To my knowledge, there wasn't any extreme violence. There was protests here locally, and I'm pretty sure there was protests all across the country on both sides of the aisle. But Bragg was like, "Yo," he broke down the reasons why. He broke down what the charges are. And he says he has a history of prosecuting these white collar crimes in New York City. He ain't playing with these white collar crimes. If you break the law, so he was making his case like, "Yo, this is not politicized," is what he was trying to say. This is not political, even though some people say George Soros backs Bragg, and that's his boy. Yo, let me tell you something. When you get to a certain level, not just in the United States, but abroad too, but especially here in the United States, but in life, a certain amount of when you got a certain amount of money for a certain duration of time, when you start moving in certain circles of people, it's a completely different existence than you and me. And I say you and me, I don't know who's watching personally, right? Like anybody could be watching this. Donald Trump could be watching this or listening to this. He might be up. This is another podcast with my name. Let me see who it is. That's a horrible Trump impersonation, but you know what I'm trying to say. Anybody could be listening to this. So if you rich, these next few statements don't apply to you, but the commoners out here, us people who are not in the loop of the well-connected, the 1%, the Ivy Leaguers, the not saying that, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. They say it's like this. The I don't know. Don't say, "Yo, Mike is part of that now," because I flashed the sign. I'm saying that's what I heard one of these signs is. I don't know. It's all speculation. I don't know anything for sure. So, afterwards, like I said, Bragg said what he said, the DA said what he said, and then Trump was like, "Yo," and I'm paraphrasing here, of course, but he was like, "Yo, this has never happened in America. This is a shame for America. This is ridiculous. This is a witch hunt." And it's never happened before. Let's be clear about that. This is unprecedented. There's no precedent for this. This has not happened. A United States president, sitting or former, has never been arrested. Now, we didn't see Trump cuffed up. And Bragg, the Manhattan DA, opted not to do a mugshot, which was surprising to me when I found that out. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't have nothing to hold up, but like the thing, turn to the left. You know what I'm saying? We all been there. Well, some of us been there. I ain't saying no names, but they opted not to just outright humiliate him because legally, they could have made them do the perp walk. They could have made them like cuffed up. They could have made them do a mug shot. So that would have been out there, for all eternity, the Trump mug shot. But they didn't do that. I think that was, a little classy. Okay, let's respect the office. But the respect for the office, just like the Constitution, and there's going to be an episode coming up on both of those things. some people, they're more than holy in these things, these constitutional rights, which have protected all of us to some degree, right? This is why everybody wants to come to America, because you afforded certain rights, a lot that we take for granted. I'm going to give you that. A lot that we do not really think much about until you leave the country. I have traveled abroad on multiple occasions, and I can tell you things are different than they are here in the States. So there's that for sure. But I want to just share a few things. I plan on making this episode short. Like I said, I was going to take it off, but I opted not to. So Trump got a few extra things, going on. Of course, we saw it live happen today as it unfolded. Um, Trump's attorney, one of them, Jim Trusty, man, one of Trump's main attorneys looks like a straight mob dude. I don't know if he got mob ties or not. I'm just saying he looked like that. The judge, Juan Merchant, him and Bragg and all of these dudes, they must have great security or tranquilizers that they just take because, I mean, when you get in this public arena, like anytime the shots could ring out, right? Like the Secret Service, you depend on these people to watch the rooftops, the windows, the whole nine, right? But I'm right now as I'm speaking about this, I'm thinking about the first time Barack Obama got elected, and him and Michelle and his daughters walked out on the stage, and they have no coats on. Like a lot of times, you don't maybe notice, but their cars are not the only thing that's bulletproof. A lot of their clothing be bulletproof, but they just had suits and shirts on. They might have had vests on underneath it, but it was very discreet if they did. But I don't think they did. But as the black man, the first black man, even though Barack is half black, half white, but the first, um, you know, perceived black man as president, I was fearful for him every day because I didn't think he was going to make it past the first term. Nevertheless, 2 terms. Because the violence, the historical violence in this country, they blew JFK's head off. JFK. Okay, so they shot Reagan. They could get touched. So the DA, you know what I'm saying, and all of his team, all of these prosecutors, all of these people that's going after Trump. Trump has a following of vehemently passionate people. I'll leave it at that. I could use a few other adjectives, but they're passionate people. I'm just gonna put it like that. But so like Trump's team got until August the 8th to file any motions, and the prosecution has to respond by September 19th. And then Judge Merchant said, he'll rule on those motions and schedule another in-person hearing December 4th. December 4th. So it's what, April now? 8 months away. Trump's got to go to court again. Now, keep in mind, this is all through the holiday season, but more importantly, during a presidential election. And that's what I said. I want to know what you think. I'm going to share what I think in just a minute, but he's running for president. And a lot of the pundits out there, a lot of people think that this is going to fuel his presidency, his run for another bid of presidency. So that's why I was really surprised that they ain't do that mugshot, that they ain't do that purple walk with the cuffs. Because the imagery, we know we're all influenced by these imageries that's out there, right? So I'm just surprised they didn't do that. because a mug shot of Donald Trump, I think, would be influential. You know what I'm saying? Definitely influential. So anyway, so Trump got a bunch of different cases. This is not the only case. Okay, so these 34 cases have to do with business dealings, falsifying business records in relation to Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels payments and stuff like that. So the Georgia case is real as well. Okay. Fannie, I believe her name is. Let me see. I got it in my notes here. Yeah, Fannie Willis is the Fulton County DA in Georgia. And she coming after him. Like Georgia's coming after him for election stuff, election interference, to be exact. Then there was a Trump Organization payroll case, which the Trump Organization, not Trump himself, was found guilty of 17 tax fraud counts. So the organization was found guilty. Yo, just hold on before I go on. I don't know. To my people out there who's ever had a case, whether you had a cold D or not, whether you had to go to trial or not, but if you were facing any substantial amount of time behind bars with one case, you know how that feels. One case, okay? Or you just get a speeding ticket and you got to pay $300 or something like that. This dude, and I'm not, once again, I'm not championing, I'm not fighting for Trump, okay? But, playing in court regularly and having these kind of, just being involved in shit that's going to take your money or your time, meaning you're going to be locked up. That's some stressful stuff, you know? But this is what these boys and girls that's, up there in these levels, that's what they deal with, right? Lawsuits, death threats, like this is their daily thing. And at the end of the day, I ask myself, is it worth it? For the fame, for the money, is it worth it? Because I've heard some famous people say, your fame is a prison. You can't go nowhere. And I was just in I don't want to say the name. A new grocery chain has just moved into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I was in there. I was trying to get some crawfish, but it was Monday, and they only sell them on the weekends. I had went Friday, got 3 pounds. I should have got 10 pounds because I knocked them 3 pounds of crawfish out with the quickness. Anyway, but I could have swore I saw. I'm not going to say his name, but I saw a professional, a very prominent, well-known, famous, active professional NFL pro football player in disguise with this dime. He had a dime with him. And I was like, yo, I told my wife, I said, that's dude. She's like, for real, she didn't get that good look at him. Of course, I wasn't about to chase him down. I'm not that dude. I'm not a fan dude, but I mean, I recognize they, what they do, give them props and accolades, but I'm not like, oh, like, some people can't talk, they get all starstruck. But I would say that was him because it's this. If anybody, we don't really pay attention to people, right? Like detectives and police, they train to zoom in on people, and then you're like, yo, Mike, you digressing again. Yes, I am. That's what I do. But um, but if you took a look at this dude, you could see it was him, but he had like a prosthetic nose, hair, and like fake stuff on. Anyway, I guess what you got to do, because if he was not in disguise, this dude would have been swarmed and surrounded, and would have been chaos. So I get it. I get it why he's doing this. But anyway, back to these cases. Fannie and Georgia's not playing. I just want to let you know that. And I wonder if these DAs, these prosecutors, all these people, if they're coordinating these efforts, the timing, because there are those who in the political arena say this is all political. This is all to get Trump knocked out of the race. Now, there's been a couple of other new, prominent people that have thrown their hat. A lot of the Republicans are scared to do it, but there's been a couple of Republicans that have thrown their hat in the presidential race. Governor Asa, I can't remember his name, but he just recently did. But Trump got a lock. He got a hold on the Republican Party, and surprisingly, a lot of people are scared to go against him. And his the camp that's rocking with him is rocking with him, like all the way. Like I said, they passion. So there's that case, like I said, in Georgia. The payroll case, which was already, done, found guilty. There's the Justice Department's case that's going on, and there's a myriad of other cases. There's the rape claim that's headed for trial in April. There's a lot. They coming after my man hard. So I understand why he be chilling in Mar-a-Lago, his sprawling estate, you know what I'm saying, in Florida. And because the governor of Florida said, I'm not extraditing him, you're gonna have to come get him. But he went voluntarily this time. So you say, yo, Mike, what you think about this? I would like to say I don't give a flying, I'm trying not to curse, right? But you know the word. I like to say I don't care. But I'm interested. I'm the type of person that not only forgives my enemies, but I pray for them. You understand? I'm not going to become a hater. Hate in your heart is like a cancer. So even if you are the grand wizard of the KKK and you wish nothing more than to hang me by a tree or, put a noose around my neck tied to a bumper and go rolling about 70 miles an hour until my head pops off like they did Mr. James Byrd right here in the state of Texas, may his soul rest in peace. I will never hate you. Hate is a waste of space in my world for me. Will I protect myself and my family, my perimeter? Absolutely. Ferociously. But I don't, I don't hate. Now, like I said, Donald Trump has kicked it with my mom's. Doubt if he remembers it. But I got photographic evidence. I got photos. My mom's got photos. Way before Photoshop photos. Like, these are real photos. My mom has told me. So, I don't hate Donald Trump. I don't hate anyone. I don't hate anyone. I think, I always put myself in other person's shoes. I empathize. And I just think to myself, what a life to be hated and loved. He's loved by many. But it comes with the territory, right? But right now, it seems like those that want to stop him. Now, he says some crass stuff. Like, he grabs women by the private parts and, you know, African nations and other nations are dirt holes. That's not what he said, but the S word, you know what he said. So he seems like the definition of an elitist, potentially a racist. But my mom's is a black woman. She's not. She don't look white. She's black. She looked black. So he was kicking it with rappers. Um, so for me, it's hard to say he's a staunch racist, even though it's rumored, I believe, or maybe more than rumored. Maybe it's been substantiated that his dad, Donald Trump's dad, had ties with the Ku Klux Klan. I don't know. Probably every white man had 2 degrees of separation to the Klan back in from 1950 backwards, right? I don't know. What I do know is that I wish everyone well. And if there is justice that needs to be served in relation to Donald Trump, then I say let it be served. I don't think there should be immunity, even though we all know it exists. For instance, if you get in any kind of trouble legally, if you find yourself before a judge, if you can afford a great attorney, not a good attorney, but a great attorney, you will most likely walk with your freedom. You may pay a substantial amount of money. You may even have to wear an ankle bracelet or have a device to blow into before you start your car, or whatever the case may be, but you're going to have your freedom. It's more likely if you are not black that you will have your freedom. It's real. It's just real. It's just real. Okay. So, how do I feel about Donald Trump being arrested today and pleading not guilty to 34 counts in a Manhattan courtroom yesterday? Um, I feel like que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. But I don't wish no ill will, regardless of how he feels about me. To me, I can't do anything for him in fiscal fashion, financial fashion. So I doubt that I matter to him, because what truly matters to Trump, seemingly, I don't know him, never met him, seems to be money and money only, power and power only. That's what seems to matter most, above all else. So, you know, let there be peace on earth. May he change his mind and his heart. Doubtful, but here's hoping. But let's see what happens. But I'm really glad nothing happened today. Nobody lost their life today in relations to this court case. Of course, people lost their life today. It happens every day on our planet. Births and deaths every day, all day. We'll see what happens. But I want to know what you think. Hit me up, Mike's Opinion Show at gmail.com, or on any of the socials, anywhere. I welcome and want your feedback. Let me know how you feel, because a lot of people got feelings about this person, Donald Trump, and a lot of people feel, some kind of way about all his situations. And he's got many situations. So let me know how you feel. I really appreciate you watching and listening and taking the time today. As always, like I said, please support the show. Much needed right now, more than ever. And if you choose not to do so financially, by the way, you can find in the bottom here on YouTube, or if you're listening anywhere, wherever you're listening, Spotify, Google, Amazon, anywhere, just tap the episode, look in the show notes. I've got all the links there: Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. The GoFundMe is out there. And again, shout out to those that have given to the GoFundMe. It's moving. It's moving mad slow, but it's moving. If you can help with that, that would be greatly appreciated. So I hope you're doing all right. I hope you are doing okay. And I mean that. I say it every episode because I mean it. If you're not okay, I hope you can find a pathway to being okay. I do. I'm Mike. This is the Mike's Opinion Podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for watching.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.